Hey everyone, it's Amanda with KS Resin. I want to show you a fun tumbler. This one is one of my marbles. This is a Marble Swirl, and I'm going to show you today how we make this. To start this tumbler, you need to have a prepped white cup. So this has been sanded, washed, and then I also added just some matte white spray paint to it, and it's fully dry, okay? Now the first step that you're going to do is add epoxy. Okay, so today we're going to be working with Liquidy Split. It is my favorite to work with tumblers. Just because of the quick cure time, I can move on to my next step pretty fast. Okay, so we'll pour it on. You'd want a decent amount on here, not like a lot, but a little more than if you were doing the epoxy method. The reason being is all of the colors, glitters, everything that we're adding, you want it to be able to move a little. Just a little, not a lot, okay? So put your epoxy on, and then we'll spread it out, make sure everything is fully covered. So everyone applies epoxy a little bit different. I just like to go smooth, even streaks, mainly for my own peace of mind, that I can make sure that I get every single part of my surface and we don't have any missed spots. All right, at this point, the next step that I like to do is once my Liquidy Split is on, or whatever, KS resin that you use is on, you want to hit it with a torch after that, okay? So with the torches, you don't want to get too close to it. You just want to be able to lightly pop those bubbles, and you don't want to burn your epoxy. So keep the flame at least a couple inches away. Alright, we got a nice smooth surface now. I have to say, popping bubbles is my favorite part. If you can get your cup in the right lighting, you can see all of them pop, and it's so gratifying. So I'm going to get a new glove on. And we're going to start, I'm going to show you what colors that I use. So first and foremost, Dragon Scale. This is one of our epoxy pigment pastes, and they're awesome. This is my favorite color. So it's like a teal, like a really shimmery, gorgeous teal. So that is one of the things we're using. The next that we're going to be using is from It's Pretty Personal. This is Shattered Dreams. Once again, just a really pretty teal color. This mica, I wish I could tell you where this is from or what color or anything. I've had it forever and it's one of my favorites. It's just kind of like a light aqua, very pretty. Next we have Robin Egg Blue. This is from Sass & Crafts, just a light blue. And if you'll notice, look at my nails. I thought that was kind of funny. I took this color to my nail place yesterday and they matched it for me. And then last that I'm going to use on this cup is my own personal mix. I call it my parsley mix because it's in an old parsley jar. This is an opal mix that I've kind of just pieced together. So if you hear me reference my parsley mix, this is why. But it's one of my favorite mixes to do. So I'm going to take those and little mixing cups, just add a little bit into the bottom of each cup. You can kind of see, it's kind of a thick paste, what it looks like, okay? So when I do these tumblers, I like to start with my deepest color first because a little bit goes a long way. So we're gonna start with Dragon Scale, okay? So all you do, just take a little bit, get it on your popsicle stick here, okay? And we're just gonna kind of make some marks. You can see I'm leaving an indentation. That's completely fine. Everything's gonna kind of move around a little bit here in a minute anyways. I'll smooth it out with my finger. This is just the beginning. One thing that's really cool about these marbles is you can do them just about any color. My most requested color is with this color being rose gold. And then they also do like a silver and then some black, and it's beautiful. Okay, so next I'm gonna do one of my glitters. This is Shattered Dreams. And I like to take it and just kind of run it alongside. You can mix a little in, but just to give a little extra. Nice and thick. I actually like it a little thick when I do this, just so I have a little more control as to exactly where I'm putting it. Every once in a while I'll kind of tap a little on the bottom. Like I said, I don't really do much to the bottom of these style cups, but it's just nice to have a little something on there. Okay, next up we have that unnamed mica. And just kind of pick and choose some fun places to drizzle that on. Everything here is going to be done with my popsicle stick for the time being, until I can get my colors on, and then I'll take my finger and I'll kind of move things around a little more. But throw a couple random streaks just to break it up a little. You can see how easy these are though. They're just a lot of fun because you can kind of play with them as much as you want. One of the first tutorials I ever watched on these though, and I still take this to heart, is, well, two things really. One, less is more, which is true because you can always add to it, but you can't take away. And then also, know when to walk away. So this is the Robin Egg Blue. I'm gonna get just a little bit more on here and just kind of put it in some random spots. Like I said, your lines don't have to be pretty. They don't have to be super neat. We're just gonna smooth things out a lot of different spots. I try to focus most of my energy on my original dark line. So around that dragon scale, that kind of sets to be the marker. And when you start with the darkest and work towards the lightest, it gives you a little more room to make it exactly what you want. If you start with the light, sometimes you can get carried away on the dark, but this just helps you build that gradual color. Okay. You can see I really don't use a whole lot of these. When I mix this in, I maybe only had about that much worth of glitter that I dripped into the cup, and then I put in maybe 5 to 7.5 milliliters of epoxy. So it's a really thick paste. Like I said, I like it thick to work with. But you don't use very much, and I have a ton of it left still. All right, last is my parsley mix. So I get a little more liberal with this, mainly because it's white, and so it just brings a little shimmer to random places on the cup. I mix it in with the dark. I put huge globs in some areas. This just blends really well. So once again, since I am using this epoxy and it's pretty thick, now that I have all my layers on, so I'm going to walk away, okay? What I'm going to do, gloved hand, is I'm just going to smooth out some of these just to make some of the lines just not as harsh. I don't want to do a whole lot, but with the epoxy being a little thicker, you'll notice that it's raised a little bit on this tumbler. So I just kind of knock down that so it's a little more smooth. Like I said, blend some of those lines. Yeah, just nice and easy. So add a little bit of color to the bottom. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think I'm pretty happy with this. These are really fun. You can even do these on a black base. One of my favorite ones, I'm actually not a purple person, but I did a black base with purple, like a really bright purple, and the white glitters, and oh my gosh, it was beautiful. We're in Colorado, and it looked like a Rockies cup, so you know who Rockies are. That's what it reminded me of. So now that everything's on, I'm happy with all of my textures, where placement on everything is. I'm going to let this get tacky. I'm not going to let it fully cure. So like I said, we're working with Liquidy Split. So I like to let this sit for about an hour, hour and a half, and then I'm going to apply another coat of epoxy, and then we're going to let it cure. And then from there, we'll add on our decal. So bear with me while we go through that next step, and we'll come back to when it's cured and we're adding on our decal. We got our graphic, okay, and transfer tape. Just roll your backing off. This normally works, but all right, victory. Okay, so now we have our graphic, okay, and let's see here. Let's kind of put it in the middle. So this is just black vinyl. Kind of boring, but it works pretty well. So when I apply it, I like to keep one hand under one side and then slowly press it down. That way I don't get any wrinkles, any bubbles. My letters all go exactly where I want them to. Let's see if we can pull this transfer tape up without the vinyl lifting. Okay. Oh, look at that. I'm not gonna call victory quite yet. Oh, awesome. Okay, so decal is on. So next, now that we have our decal on, I had already sanded my rim. I always leave just a little bit up at the lip, if you can't tell there. That way my epoxy gets a really good attachment to my cup. Okay, so everything's sanded, everything is smooth, and I'm going to go ahead and put 2 more layers of epoxy on top of this. Personal preference, some people do 1, some do 2. I like to put 2 on top of my decals to make sure that we don't have any issues, and we'll go from there. So I'll put 2 more layers on, and then our cup will be done. All right, guys, here it is, finished cup, all sealed up. Everything's glossy and amazing. Pretty fun, huh? These are super easy. They're fun because you can do any color combination. They're beautiful. I'm a big fan of these.